We are rolling along with our Prep Football Summer Series, and we got a good one for you today. Joining me today, Rhett Stallworth, head coach of the Yuma Catholic Shamrocks. Coach, first off, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's always a pleasure.
All right, let's just get right into it. Last season, unfortunately, you guys fell just yards short of a state championship in the 4A state title game. But how have you seen that motivation and that just emotion of coming so close motivate your guys coming into this year?
Well, our kids are definitely motivated. It's become an expectation to get to that point every year. Some years you fall a little bit short, but to be there and to fall so short, it's kind of one of those things that it sticks with you the rest of the year and kind of helps motivate the kids, push them in the off season. The ultimate goal then now is to get there and finish it off and win it. And they pay their dues in the weight room and in the off season to be there. It's just a matter of can we stay healthy and put it all together.
A lot of the stuff going on in the off season around this time is the 7-on-7s, and you guys have been doing it against some of the best teams in the area.
We have. We do some stuff at home with some of the local schools, but we push ourselves early on. We go to San Diego State for a couple of weekends in a row where you play some of the elite teams around. And being the first time we went up there, we actually won the tournament against some pretty elite teams. So we know we have the makings of what we want. It's just a matter of staying consistent and doing all the little things so that they add up at the end.
A lot of high schools don't do what you guys do for fall camp, where you guys go away, take away the phones. How do you guys get ready for the season with that, and how do you think that helps you going forward?
Well, it's a long tradition for us. We used to go up to the mountains, and we used to stay 7 days up there. And because of logistics and stuff, this time around what we'll do is we go to Arizona Western. We practice out there. We lock them up in the dorms. But we practice in the morning. We have meetings and weight room during the day. Then we practice again at night. But the taking away of the phones, the taking away of all electronics, it forces the kids to talk to each other, it forces them to communicate, to learn about each other, see what makes each other tick. It helps them become better teammates. It helps them to become a little more cohesive together and play as a unit instead of just a bunch of individuals.
Talking about a unit, you guys are one of the smallest schools in the 4A division, and a lot of times you have guys playing both ways and are undersized. So those offensive and defensive line units are super important. How have the guys that you guys have been bringing through this year, because you guys graduated a lot, been gelling so far this year?
They're working hard. We're still looking to see what is going to be that magic group of guys that we have set up. We're trying to decide ultimately we'd like to have a separate offensive line, a separate defensive line. That doesn't always work out that way. So we're trying to see who we're going to fit in first on that offensive line, and then we're going to take it from there. We have lots of possibilities, lots of kids that have paid their dues in the weight room, that have been with us for 3 years. Now it's going to be their senior year, and it is their time. It's just a matter of there's only so much we can do now. Once we get the shoulder pads on and get the helmets on, we actually start to hit and it becomes live. We're going to be able to figure this out a little bit better. So we're kind of in a holding pattern per se right now.
And one of the guys they're going to be protecting is Nash. Now he's going into year 2 as a quarterback. Last year we saw a lot of the growing pains. We saw a lot of great, but we also saw a crucial pick 6 in the state championship game. But then he led the team down the field and put you guys in a position to win. What have you seen from his development now as he's getting into his junior season?
He's developing a lot. He's become, a better student of the game. He's learning the system better. In the off season, and it helps because we've got a young sophomore now that's coming up behind him that's very talented as well. So anytime you create, and Scout Reese, so anytime you create competition, it helps to push these guys to a whole new level. And sometimes when you don't have anybody behind you, you can get a little stale and stagnant sometimes. So I think that's a good motivating factor for him right now.
And whoever that guy's going to be behind center is going to be thrown to one of the best wide receiver duos in the country, Sir Stokes and Daryl Coleman. How big of an asset is that for you guys going forward, especially since you guys lost a 1,000-yard rusher?
Well, we definitely will throw the football more this year. Those guys, we definitely have to take advantage of their talents, but we have to manage them well too because they're also starters on the secondary and defense. So we've got to be able to manage their time on defense and their time on offense, and when they're on the field, are we making sure that we're getting the ball to them? Are they out there during reps that they really don't need to be out there? So it's just going to be how do we manage them and can we keep them healthy all the way through the end of the year? Because that was an issue last year at the state championship. Coleman was pretty banged up by the time we got to that point.
It always seems like there's a stalwart on the field at Yuma Catholic. Your son Rocky, our defensive player of the year this past season, this is going to be your last year coaching him. What has it been like in the privilege to coach your son now for 4 years?
It's a different experience. With this one, it's been a different experience, especially because he plays linebacker. That's what I did. That's those things. I feel really comfortable there with him. But it's nice to see him grow, nice to see them mature and become young men, and to be right there and be in the thick of it with them and see the growing pains that they go through and experience it with them. And it's a blessing. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. And fortunately, it turned out that way. So it's been great.
And then looking at the schedule, and the people at home will see this schedule on their screens at the moment. You guys got an absolute gauntlet, starting with Salinas at home and then on the road at Thatcher and AZ College Prep. So we're really going to see what kind of team this is going to be early on.
Yeah, that schedule's brutal, but it's what you need today because, last year in 4A, I think there's 9 sections, and only 4 of the sections qualify people for state based on the PowerPoint system. So out of that 10-game schedule, 9 of those teams are playoff teams, and that's what you need because you're going to have to get PowerPoints one way or another to get in there. And ultimately, our goal is to be in the top 2 or 3 so that we can get home field advantage during the playoffs.
You guys had that home field advantage throughout the playoffs, really helped you get on that run to the state championship game.
Absolutely.
But what's it going to take this year to go that one step further and bring back that state title to Yuma?
Well, we've got to plug some holes on the offensive line. Our defense should be pretty good. We have a lot of returners there, and we're going to have to find a way to. We're not going to be able to replace Tate Ford, but we're going to have to find a way to kind of plug the dam there a little bit. And we have kind of a running back by committee approach right now, and we'll see how that goes. And again, it's managing people that are playing both ways as well. We've got to be balanced though, and just play a little bit better defense. And I think by the end of this, we can pull it off. It just depends on every year we've ever won a state championship. There's always that one crucial time where it seems like it's just a little bit of luck went your way, or the bounce went your way, or something like that.
A little bit of magic.
You definitely got to have that, but to be in a position to have that, you got to create that, and that comes through the hard work and the paying attention to detail.
Well, Coach, I can't wait to watch you and the Shamrocks run outside the tunnel. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you all for joining us as we move across the Yuma and the Imperial Valley all summer long with our Prep Football Summer Series.